What's up, everybody? Good afternoon and welcome to GJS's Creating Christmas Magic live event. I'm Lucas Stone and I'm here this afternoon with the always sensational Steve Poole. You've seen him in most of our videos. He's got the nicest face, so that's why we put him in them. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Lucas.
We expect this event this afternoon to go for about an hour. We've rehearsed it. It goes for about an hour. So we just wanted to say a big thank you for you guys for giving us an hour of your time this afternoon and letting us talk to you. So just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. All of the participants will join the session on mute, but you can talk to Steve and I using the Q&A function, which you can find at the top right-hand side of your screen. As we get started this afternoon, we'd really love it if you jump into the Q&A and just give us a shout out, tell us your name and where you're joining us from this afternoon, location-wise, just so that we know who we've got along for the journey with us. We'll try and take questions as we go through each segment, and we will also have a dedicated Q&A session at the very end of the event. So feel free to shoot through the questions at any time. We'll try and answer them on the fly. A recording of this event will be made available to you guys in about 1 or 2 days in our post-event follow-up email, just in case you'd love to watch Steve and I again. I don't know who would, maybe our mums. My mum would like to watch us again.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably our mum. And just in case you want to watch us again, you'll get a recording link in the next couple of days so you can watch this back. And just as a special treat, we are packaging up all of the artwork that we are using in today's session to create these products into a download file for you guys. So you can get those images, you can create those products and sell them for profit. It's just our way of saying thank you to you guys for joining us this afternoon. So welcome to the new GJS studio. It's finally here. It's taken a long time. We started building this studio before COVID hit at the beginning of the year. Obviously that COVID put a stop to that, but since we've been back in the office, we've finished this space. It's a really amazing space. We've got obviously our camera at the front here. We've got an amazing overhead camera here, which will let you see exactly what we are doing as we do the live demonstrations. Julianne, hello. Mai, good to have you with us, or May, great to have you with us. We've also got another camera here that we will be using to do some close-ups as well. Hopefully giving you guys a really immersive experience of us taking you through how we create these products, in a real-time situation. And we really want to use this space to deliver more video content for you guys. I know we make a lot of videos. Steve is obviously the face of our How to Sublimate videos, but we really want to do more live events like this, especially because some of the borders are still closed and we can't get to see you all. Hey, Jill from Ipswich, good to have you on board with us. So yeah, this is going to be our new space moving forward, and we're so excited to finally be here. So just a little bit of an agenda for this afternoon. So we're going to take you through how to create some of our most popular Christmas gift giving products, and that's across dye sublimation, DTG, Forever Media, water slide, which is from Forever as well. So we're going to try and take you through those most popular products in about an hour. And we're going to also throw in a few marketing tips along the way. So while Steve is doing the pressing, I'm going to throw out some marketing ideas that will hopefully get you thinking about how you can get your products into the hands of your customers in time for Christmas. So we're going to start by talking about Christmas t-shirts, which is obviously we're wearing some of these Christmas t-shirts at the moment. You've probably seen them in the stores. We're going to talk about Christmas baubles and ornaments, both our ceramic and our metal ones. We're going to take you through how to create sequin Christmas stockings, which you see here. Santa sacks, which are another popular product that we sell every year. Santa Stop Here yard signs, massive product, great seller. Going to take you through how to create those. And we're going to finish up with some Forever water slide media and show you how to create customized candles. And we do have a special gift for everyone who stays right to the end of the session. So make sure you hang out with us until the very end in order to receive that special gift. So Steve, shall we get started?
Yes, definitely, Lucas. Looking forward to this.
So novelty t-shirts.
Yes, so in the Northern Hemisphere where I grew up, it's this time of year, it's all about the ugly Christmas sweaters. But obviously here in Australia, we don't wear sweaters at this time of year. So it's all about the Christmas or
the Daggy Christmas tees.
Now I particularly enjoy this one, this design, even though it's got the snowflakes on it. Not a traditional Christmas in Australia, but it's one of my favorites.
And so how is this one made?
This is actually made using sublimation. So it's an all over print, front and back, using a large printer and a large heat press. It's a great design. And I actually made this one back in 2015.
I have seen you wearing it, actually wearing it at Christmas. So legit, he actually wears this t-shirt. So, and mine, I'm going to guess by the feel of it that it is produced by DTG.
Correct, absolutely. Nice soft feel there from a DTG inks.
But just the design of it makes it look like it's one of those kind of knitted sweater type thing, but obviously in t-shirt form. And that's what we're going to show you how to create today. So this is the design that we're going to take you through now. You can see it's a gold colored design with Merry Christmas on it. Looks like a knitted sweater, but obviously in t-shirt form. So what product are we going to be using to create this t-shirt?
So this is going to be made with the Forever FlexSoft transfer media. This is printed using a regular laser or LED printer. So you may already have one of these at home. Almost every printing process we sell requires a heat press, so you most likely already have one of those.
Yeah.
So if you already got that, you just need the media to print onto.
Amazing. Let's start.
So the first thing we're going to do is line up the t-shirt or garment into the heat press. Now just take a little bit of time, make sure it's nice and square. And not essential, but what I like to do is use the lint roller just across the surface of the shirt. It's going to go inside the heat press or where the imaging area is to remove any loose or excess fibers. And for anybody who is already familiar with this process, you'll see that I have already applied the B-sheet, the glue, to the transfer. And then this is now ready to transfer onto the garment. So we're going to place this face down into the heat press. As a general rule, you probably want to keep it about 50 mil from the collar. But these Christmas designs, I think they look actually quite cool, a little bit lower down than usual. If we use the edges of the paper to make sure we've got it nice and lined up, and then we're going to cover it with the finishing sheet, just so that protects it from the heating element. And we press this for 30 seconds with a nice steady pressure.
So you probably would have seen some of these products in store, and you know, we've seen just the generic ones like the one I showed you before, which doesn't have any customization, people's names on or anything like that, selling for upwards of $40. So there's really a lot of margin to be made in these products when you add that customization element into it as well. So are people obviously going to pay a premium for a customized product? It's so easy to do so with products like the Forever Media.
Yeah, that's it. But open the heat press. And now once we remove it from the heat press, or whilst we're moving it from the heat press, we want to make sure the shirt stays nice and flat. And we're just going to lay it down on the surface here. And now the trick is we need to remove this when it's completely cold. So when it's completely cold, the glue is hard. And when we remove it, it's going to be stuck to the shirt. If it's warm at all, then it's not going to bond correctly to the shirt.
And would you say that that is kind of a mistake that people getting into Forever often make, is not waiting for it to cool down enough?
Yeah, definitely. So if you're doing several shirts, you can just do the first part, put it down to cool. Now there's no maximum amount of time it needs to be there, or no minimum amount of time. You can leave it there for 3-4 hours if you wanted. It just needs to be completely cold.
Yeah.
So you're doing a production run, you just stack the shirts up, come back later and peel it off.
Another hack, leave it on a concrete floor?
Yeah, like in our showroom, we've got concrete floor. I always put products on there to cool it down really quickly.
Cool.
Let's just make sure that's nice and cool. Remove this from underneath. Perfect. Now, one of the tricks and techniques for this is we want to remove this in a nice curved rolling action like this. And then we would remove it all the way. Get the roll going and move it all. Keep your hand close to the curve and keep this rolling all the way off the design. Beautiful. Now,
Amazing.
there is one final step, and that's to put it back into the heat press for another 30 seconds, and that's going to embed it fully into the weave of the fabric to give it a really soft feel.
Now we've got two options with our finishing sheets, is that correct?
That's correct. We can give it a matte finish or a gloss finish.
Well, it's Christmas, it needs to be shiny and glossy.
Exactly, and we want the metallic colours to be really shiny as well. So let's go with the gloss finishing sheet. So just cover that there, And then we can press this for a shorter time, 20 seconds should be sufficient. Most important part here is the pressure and the heat.
So I'm going to kick off with my first marketing tip for the day, and that is to make sure you order early. You guys will probably have seen some of the delays that are happening at the moment with COVID and the like. So we've been really fortunate. Our purchasing officer has done an amazing job. We've got a warehouse full of stock here. So our first tip is make sure you get your orders into us as quick as you can so we can get our products to you. You can print them and get them to your customer with enough time before Christmas so that they can end up under the tree as gifts on the big day.
We'll remove the finishing sheet from the shirt and we can lay this down on the side. And then if there's any excess flakes on the shirt, like you can see around this snowflake here, that's funny, excess flakes on the snowflake. We can just use a lint roller to pull those off.
And that was one we didn't prepare earlier.
And that's it. As simple as that, literally several minutes from start to finish. Now, that's something you couldn't achieve with other printing processes. DTG doesn't have metallic or inks like this, and you just wouldn't even attempt to weed a design like that. Well, I personally wouldn't, unless there's somebody out there who likes weeding, who would attempt it, then fair play.
Yeah.
But
look at all those little holes there. There's no way you'd try and weed that.
it would. By the time you factor in your labour, you're going to be losing. So a self-weeding process from Forever, a really time-efficient process.
Amazing. All right. So what's the next product that we're going to go through, Steve?
So the next product we're going to look at is the very seasonal products, the Christmas ornaments, baubles, ceramic ornaments, and metal ornaments.
Amazing. Now, these are some of our most popular Christmas gifting products. Obviously, they're meant to be hung on a tree or somewhere around the home.
So which one do you think we should start with, Lucas?
Let's start with the Christmas baubles.
Perfect. So even though it's a round product, we still manufacture it or produce it in the flat press. That's because we sublimate onto the metal insert. So the first thing you want to do for this is you're going to need your blank substrate, your printed transfer, pair of scissors to cut down your printed transfer, which has already been pre-cut here, some heat resistant tape and some protective paper. We're using our baking paper we picked up at Woolies.
Good old generic Woolworths baking paper does the job.
It absolutely does. And you might need a heat resistant glove for handling the hot products.
Now, do these, the printable inserts have a plastic coating on them?
Yes, they do. You want to make sure you remove this before you start printing. One of the most common mistakes, I must admit, I do make it sometimes when I'm thinking about something else, but make sure you remove the plastic first. Otherwise, when you come to separate the paper, it's stuck to the plastic.
Well, it's a tricky one because not all of the products have them, but this is a product that does have them. So make sure you take some time to remove that plastic covering before you put it into your heat press.
My little tip here is just place it on the base of the heat press because this is hot. It's going to warm up the plastic, make it soft, and then you can just peel it away really quickly. Now, with these metal inserts, the way that we sublimate them is face down. So by that, I mean, let's put a piece of baking paper on the bottom of the heat press, and then we put the printed transfer on top of that face up, and then we take the blank product, making sure there's no particles or dust on there, and then place that face down on the print, aligning it within the bleed. And then you don't have to, but you can use a bit of heat resistant tape to secure it in position. Now, if I was doing a production run, I wouldn't use the heat transfer tape because that's just going to add a few extra seconds in the process. But if you're new to this, then that's a good idea to use that because you don't want it to move around in the heat press. And then we're just going to cover it with a second piece of baking paper because the bleed is on top and it's going to go onto the heating element. It's going to protect your heat press. Now, the timer is still set at 30 seconds from the Forever, so I'm just going to pop that back up to 60 seconds. And then away we go.
So one of the questions that we often get asked is about pricing. So, what can you sell some of these printed products for? So I know just this year, now that we can get back into shops again, I've been out doing some Christmas shopping and I've seen some pop-up stores where they're creating Christmas baubles and they're just the generic kind of like red Christmas baubles with the glittery writing on them, and you basically take them up to the register and they'll write your name on it, and they're charging upwards of I think the price was $25 to $25.99 per Christmas bauble.
Wow.
So if you think about a family of 5 or even more, like mum, dad, 3 kids, that's a lot of money. But if you think about the cost in creating something like this, and then the photographic element that's obviously a part of that as well, there's a lot of scope in there for selling these types of products at similar, if not more prices.
Yeah. Press here, Lucas. Now we're going to remove the baking paper off the top, and we don't actually need to use heat gloves here because you can grab the transfer paper, and using my hinge technique, it will just lift up.
The famous Steve Poole dye sublimation hinge technique. How many fingers has it probably saved from being burnt over the years? Countless.
Wouldn't be able to count that
Countless.
figure.
Yeah,
It's
ingenious. It's ingenious.
So takes a few seconds for it to cool down using our fan technique, or on a cold work surface will be also okay. Whilst that's happening, I'm just going to put the temperature of the heat press up.
Alrighty.
And then you can take your bauble, comes in a variety of different colours. This is the silver one. We're just going to remove the backing of the adhesive, just peel it away like this, and then take the printed metal insert. Now make sure you align that, take care. Push it down, and then full photographic images ready to go. And like Lucas said, customizable. That's where the value in these products is truly takes hold.
Amazing. Alrighty, let's move on to our ceramic ornaments, because they're again incredibly popular.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a bit longer to press.
They take a little bit longer because the ceramic absorbs the heat, and it takes a little bit longer for the ceramic to get to temperature. So anywhere between 2 and 2.5 minutes if you're just manufacturing one. Now we're going to need to use this Nomex pad, and what this is, it's a soft felt pad which is going to absorb the pressure and prevent the ceramic from cracking. And it also allows us to get a really nice print on the edges of the ceramic.
Almost like a little bit of a wraparound effect.
That's it. So we want to put the baking paper down just to keep the Nomex pad nice and clean.
You're welcome, Ben. We did make that one especially for you, knowing that you were joining us.
So again, print face up on the base, and then making sure that your substrate is clean, there's no excess particles or dust on there. Place that down, make sure you get that position nicely, just like that. And then we're going to cover it because again, the bleed's going to go up and it could go on to the heating element. Now I'm just going to change the timer. So because this is the first press, this Nomex is cold, it's going to take a little bit longer. So 2.5 minutes. Now if you've done 2 or 3 presses already, the Nomex is going to be hot, so you could drop the timer down to about 2 minutes. And you'll notice that the pressure has increased significantly. So we just need to reduce that to get this product. Not too much pressure, otherwise you may crack the ornament.
And that's just done by feel, yeah?
Yeah, by feel, unless you've got a pneumatic heat press.
Amazing. Well, while that is cooking, I will jump into my second marketing tip, which is get your Google juice flowing. So what that means is take some time to make sure that your website, if you have one, is optimized for search. So people once again this year are going to be searching for products online, much like they did the last couple of years, but we've seen a real massive surge in people who are looking to buy products online, especially because last year they couldn't get to stores. They're only able to get to stores now, but there's still going to be that huge amount of online purchasing that's going to be happening. So what we recommend is that our customers just take some time to have a look at their website, especially their product pages, and make sure you have those keywords for what people are probably going to be searching for infused into the copy, and also use them on your social media posts as well so that people can find the products that you are selling. We like to recommend a keyword planner. If you're not sure what people might be searching for, you can look at trends on Moz or Google Ad Planner, and that will tell you the type of things that are really popular in search and what things people are looking for. So take those keywords, infuse them into your website, your product pages, and use them in your social posts for, to really raise that discoverability through online search engines. So for example, if you are selling customized baby apparel, so we've got like some of our baby apparel here on the left here, you might use keywords such as presents for new mums, or customized baby clothes to help boost your SEO ranking. So all those kind of things can just help getting your products in front of people at the right time when they're thinking about purchasing them in the lead up to Christmas. So that's still cooking. So we're pressing. I feel like I'm hosting a cooking show.
Yes.
Yeah. We're pressing a star ornament, but we do have quite a lot of other different styles available. So we've got our star. Is there?
We got Christmas trees, we got bells, we've got hearts, snowflakes, ovals, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. Now you can make more than one in the press at a time, but add an additional 15 seconds cooking time for each additional item that you're going to be making.
Now, why do you have to add that additional time?
Because the ceramic is going to draw some heat out of the heating element, so we need to make sure all the ceramic's going to get up to the 200 Celsius to get a perfect transfer.
Amazing.
Now, you don't have to wear a heat-proof glove here if you're careful, because we can just grab the edge of a transfer paper and then flip it over like so. And then we can move it over to a cooling area. You might have like a cooling rack you put cakes on, or a cold surface. It's going to allow the products to cool down nice and quickly.
Nice.
Once it's cooled down, you can pop the gold hanging tag just through the loop at the top, tie it up, and ready where you go. Personalized. Amazing. Again, full color. Anything you see on screen, your printer is obviously going to print, and you can sublimate onto these products. So it's not just single color text like you might see in these big shopping centers. You can produce photographic results.
Alrighty, let's do a metal ornament.
Let's do the metal ornament. So the ceramic ornaments are amazing. However, they're not child friendly or pet friendly. If someone pulls against a tree or a dog jumps up, the ceramic ornament falls off, there's a chance it could break. Whereas the metal ornaments, we like to call them pet and child friendly, because they're obviously not going to break if you drop them on the floor. Now,
that's also a good point about the Christmas baubles, like the glass ones that you get from the department stores, they can break. These ones, they will bounce if dropped. So if they fall off the tree or kid pulls them off, then they're not going to break.
Yes, I like that bounce.
I was glad it bounced.
So these are double-sided, and you can press both sides at the same time. Now, what you need to do is make sure you fold your transfer over directly in half, so both sides line up and cover it. And then you want to be really careful and tape it in position. Now, this does require some exact precision and take extra time and care. But, or if you want to just make one side at a time, it's really easy. Same as the other Christmas ball. You can just position it within the blade, take a single piece of heat resistant tape, and use the special Steve hinge technique. Just on one side. Now, we do want to put the paper on the base of the heat press. And then we're gonna flip it up and turn it over and put it into the press so that the printed transfer is on top this time. And we want to drop the timer down to 60 seconds, which is a magic number. So
another really cool thing about the Steve hinge technique is you really want to get that that transfer paper off the substrate as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So having that hinge lets you quickly flip it over, and so that substrate is going to fall away from the paper and hopefully avoid some of that ghosting which you can get if the paper slides across the substrate and continues to sublimate as it's moving across the product.
That's it. So if you are going to make them in this method one side at a time, you complete the process from the first side, allow the metal ornament to cool down completely, and then you can do the process for the second side. And again, these ornaments are available in several different shapes. So the heart shape could be used, it's not a seasonal item, it could be used around all year, but some of the items like the Christmas tree and the bell are more seasonal. I think there's about 6 different shapes.
Yeah,
You can get those online. So to produce these, you're looking at just a few dollars, $2 to $3, depending on if it's a ceramic or the.
Especially if you're
Christmas
printing multiple prints on a single A4 or A3 page, there's lots of economies of scale there.
That's it. It's just a few dollars to produce these products. Now I'm going to use a heat-proof glove here, and I put the tape on the base on this side. So grab the paper on the opposite side, lift it up.
Beautiful.
Nice, vibrant colours.
And again, they all come with the hanging string.
Yeah. So as soon as that's cooled down, you can just attach the little red ribbon. It's very.
Gary wants to know, is the Steve hinge technique patented or can anyone use it? Well, I think it's just a value out of being a GJS customer that you're allowed to use the Steve hinge technique. So, you know.
That's what you get being a part of the GJS printing family.
Alrighty, so that's it for our Christmas ornaments.
That's it.
I will take all your bits of paper. Let's move on to our sequined Christmas stockings.
Again, this is actually my favourite seasonal item. I
always knew you liked stockings, Steve.
I know. What gave that away?
I had a feeling that you're into stockings.
But in particular, the sequin stockings.
Now there is something cathartic about doing this, isn't there?
It's just so satisfying getting the sequins all in the same direction. Now you'll notice there's silver, these ones are silver on this side, but the side we want to print on is the white side. So make sure
it's important to get them the right way.
Yeah, and then you might find the odd one it's sticking out the wrong way, just so it's getting there. Flip that over. Now, if it's just one or two, you're probably never going to notice. But if you want to get it absolutely perfect, you can spend your time turning them all around. So we've got a printed transfer and we're going to flip this around. Now this is a tip, not just for the sequin stockings, but for any sublimation product that's going to have a white background. So once you put your printed transfer face down over the print, you can no longer see the print. So I add this little border down the side that helps you to position it. Now, if you're using one of the Sawgrass printers, you've got a little feature in the Print Manager or in Creative Studio to print the blade lines.
Does it for you?
It does it for you. Or if you know how to use Photoshop or Illustrator or any graphics application, it takes a few seconds just to add that in there.
Amazing.
So let's get this positioned. So for this product, we're definitely going to need to use the heat resistant tape just to hold this in position. Now, the key here is not to use too much tape because that hinders you removing the transfer paper afterwards. So just 2 or 3 pieces is going to be absolutely sufficient here.
So I can already hear people saying that how is this going to fit into this heat press?
It's a very good question. So the stocking is obviously bigger than this heat press and bigger than this A3 piece of paper, but that's okay because it's got a white background and we could press this in multiple pieces. So if you've got an A4 printer, for example, you could do first press at the top, let it cool down, then do a second press down here at the bottom. So you can print a product that's larger than your printer in separate sections. But what you want to make sure is you don't try and put 2 images up to each other because you're going to see either a dark line or a white stripe if it's not perfectly aligned. So
it's one of the advantages of these products having a white background. If you do have artwork which also has a white background, you can separate them and do 2 prints and get that all over design.
That's correct. So this is a bit of a thicker product than the metal panel, so we're just going to need to adjust the pressure slightly. Again, it's by feel. You know your heat press, we've used it several times. And the magic number is 60 seconds.
60 seconds. Well, while that is pressing, I will talk about my marketing tip number 3, which is make the most out of email marketing. So if you've been to any of our roadshow events or any of the other events that we have hosted where I've always spoken about email marketing being the most cost-effective form of marketing that you can do for your business. And now is a really great time just to reach out to your customers using your email marketing database. Just let them know that you're still around, the types of products that you're creating this time of year that you can sell to them. Take some time to segment your database into things like gender or previous purchase history. Even consider things like running a special Christmas offer. It's so easy just to jump in there, create an email, send it out, and then you should hopefully have customers knocking on your door wanting to buy your products before Christmas. So that is pressed.
That's it. The timer's just beat there to let us know. Now what we want to do is lift up a transfer paper without it dropping back down again or moving laterally across the products.
We don't want any of that ghosting.
That's it. Lift that up there and lift that away. Beautiful. I'm going to slide this off the heat press.
Amazing. So this design looks like one of those tags that you would put on a Christmas present, on a Christmas gift, right?
Yep.
The to from, and it's one of the designs that's going to be available via the download link that we're going to be sharing with everybody in the email that you receive in a few days after the completion of this event. So use it, edit the text, use it for your customers, our gift to you so that you can purchase some of these products, use the artwork and sell them and make some money off them.
Fantastic. So I've got a couple of questions come up here, Lucas. I'll answer some of them.
Sure.
So is the Cricut Easy Press a good replacement for a heat press? So for some print technologies, that is okay. So for heat transfer vinyl, but some of the products does require a pressure. And to get a perfect transfer, such for the Forever product, it does require a nice firm pressure. So a heat press is going to be required for that.
Okay.
Some of the
For those people who may not know what the Cricut Easy Press is, it's different to this.
Yes, that's correct. It's a press similar to an iron, basically, with a bit of weight, and it just sits on top.
Yep.
So it probably would work for sublimation onto fabric products, but when it comes to the hard surfaces, again, you're going to need to get a nice firm pressure, and you're going to get that from a heat press.
More for the crafting market, probably,
Yeah.
the Cricut Easy Press.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it.
Hope that answers that question.
It-
All right.
So what product should we make next, Lucas?
Let's make Santa sacks.
Fantastic.
So again, this is one of our most popular products that we sell every year. We've got the enormous Santa sacks up here, which you can make depending on the size of your heat press. And then we also have some of the smaller ones as well that you can purchase and create, not just for Christmas gift giving, but a whole heap of other different applications as well. But for the purposes of this demo, we're going to use one of the smaller ones. Great for those last minute gift ideas, pets, and just putting things under the tree so that they don't get separated, or the little gifts are kept together in one place. So how do we make these, Steve? We obviously start with our printed transfer, as always.
Printed transfer, the blank substrate. We're going to need to use a lint roller and the heat resistant tape for this. You're obviously going to need your baking paper, and if you've got a small print or multiple prints on the page, a pair of scissors just to trim those down. Now, there's two ways we can press this. If we're doing a full print like we're going to be doing, you're going to need to remove the string to get a perfect print where the string goes. Or if you're just doing a smaller print on the product, you could just pop it into the heat press like this and make sure the drawstring part is hanging over the side when you're pressing it.
So we're making a all over print for this particular product, so we're going to have to remove the drawstring.
That's correct. So they can just be pulled out nice so, and then you can easily attach them back in afterwards. Lucas has got a wonderful technique with a paper clip.
Safety pin or a paper clip, we'll get those back in for you.
Now, what you're going to notice on this design is down towards the bottom, it's got a transparent background, so it's white. So I've added this black box around that, so it's going to help me position it and get it central towards the bottom, make sure I've not got it skewed. So before we position it down, you're going to make sure you can do both sides, one side at a time. Just taking the lint roller, I'll just get myself a fresh sheet. Just go across the imaging surface to remove any excess fibers, and then place that down against the print. Now just make sure you're taking a little bit of time, a little bit of care to get that nicely aligned. And then we want to use a bit of heat resistant tape, not too much again, because if you have too much, it makes it difficult to remove a transfer paper afterwards. So just 2 or 3 pieces would be absolutely sufficient. Now, a little tip is to see where the bag opens here. If the bag doesn't line up perfectly, it overlaps like that, the inside can be printed. So you could just take a piece of baking paper, fold it up like so. So it's the same width as the bag. Place it inside, make it a little bit smaller. Pop it inside like that, so then we don't get anything on the inside here. Just one more bit of tape on the top side, tape that down. Now, when we put it into the heat press, we're going to put it on top of here, but if there's any ink residue from the bleeds on the Teflon, that's going to go on the back of the bag, which is not going to be ideal. So we're just going to put a bit of protective paper down in here to protect the back of the bag. Now, taking care when you pick it up, but you don't move the design. If you've got enough tape down, it's going to be okay. But I like to put one hand underneath, one hand on top, turn it over, and then position it inside the heat press. Now, where the drawstrings are, there is 4 layers of fabric and only 2 layers down towards the bottom. So we are going to need a medium to heavy pressure to make sure we get a nice pressure all the way across the design. So that's already set up, and away we go.
So this is another product that you can obviously do. You can press multiple times if it doesn't fit into your heat press, if you've got a design that that warrants that.
Yeah.
And it's also important to note that these aren't only available for dye sublimation. So you can use a whole different other printing type to create these products. For example, you can use Forever.
Yeah, definitely.
If you have a DTG printer and the substrate is right, you can use a DTG printer to create SantaStax and HTV.
Yeah, HTV will work again. Our Revolution range will work onto pretty much any type of fabric. So doesn't have to be polyester bags. It could be calico, cotton, you name it. So it's not just limited to the sublimation bags we sell, but all the printing technologies will allow you to print customized bags. So let's open up the heat press. And then, same as before, we want to get the transfer paper off in one continuous motion without moving it so we don't get any bleed. So pick it up until you can see the edge and then lift it up like so.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
And it was good that we put that baking paper in the top there, because you can see a little bit of blow through there.
And that little blow through there would have gone into the back of the product there. So just a little tip there to prevent it going through and making it look nice and
beautiful.
So now if we were going to do the other side, just let it cool down, mount it onto the next piece of paper, same process again.
Amazing.
And then you would just put the drawstrings in. Products would be then ready.
Now let's move on to Santa Stop Here yard signs, because this is one of my personal favorites. So these pieces of metal are actually available on our website. They are listed as Unisub metal outdoor stakes. So they're useful for marking parking spots, for identifying plants or herbs in your backyard, for basically for anything that you can use outside, directions, wayfinding. But they are great for creating these types of Santa Stop Here signs, which are always popular at this time of year. Now, again, you can purchase generic uncustomized versions like this that just say Santa Stop Here from like a $2 shop or something like that. But what really creates the value for these products is having a family name, or saying Gregory and Jessica want you to stop here, Santa, or something like that. And one thing that we have found this year is we've been seeing and creating ones with QR codes. So obviously QR codes are huge at the moment. Santa is going to need to check in everywhere he goes this year because we're COVID safe and everything like that, and he needs to be as well. So you can have inspire your customers to create something like this with a QR code that might link to the children's Christmas gift wish list, which they can add to or something like that. So you can basically create whatever you want, but the message behind this is create something that's timely, that's relevant, that kind of, you know, people are really going to, you know, purchase because it's very now. And that's what we feel these are. So shall we make one?
Let's do it. So you want to make sure you've got your printed transfer, the blank substrate, heat resistant tape, a pair of scissors if you need to trim down the design, and you're definitely going to need to use your heat resistant glove for this one. Now, this product doesn't have the protective plastic on there, so there's no need to remove that, but just make sure that there's no particles or dust on there. Now, it can be difficult to see, but I'm angling it into a light there and you can see any reflections nice and easily. There's a little bit of dust there in the middle, just going to remove that with the back of my hand. If you use a cloth, I find that you're going to put more fibers back down when you remove, so providing you've got clean hands, you could use the back of your hand to remove anything.
Amazing.
Now we're going to turn this over and place it face down onto the printed transfer, and the print is bigger than the product and the excess area is called the bleed, as you probably know, and we use that to align it and get it perfectly positioned. Now we're going to use the heat resistant tape, just a small piece down towards the bottom and then another piece up at the top, because this product we do need to flip it over to put it into the heat press.
Amazing.
So again, if there's anything on the base of the heat press, any residue of ink from the previous presses, it's going to go on the back of the products. We don't want that to happen. So we just get a bit of a protective paper, pop it in here, and then now we're going to pick up the print and the blank product and place that into the heat press, and then we're going to press it. Let me just make sure we've got 60 seconds dialed in and we've got the correct pressure because the bag was a little bit thicker than this. Let me just position that. Perfect.
So while that's pressing, I'm going to take you through my next marketing tip, which is embrace the seasonality that comes with Christmas in Australia. So my advice to everyone is forget about the snowman and everything that comes from the Northern Hemisphere and embrace Christmas, which is summer in Australia. So barbecues, beers, you know, going to the beach and getting your feet burnt on the sand, all those kind of things that make summer and Christmas uniquely Australian is what people want to see on their personalized product. So if you want to add some even an element of even more currency, as I said, we're really loving these QR codes on the Santa Stop Here signs. They're so relevant. Great idea for I guess keeping those Christmas lists and everything in order. As well as getting Santa to check in to make sure he stops at your house, depending if your kids have been naughty or nice, I guess. So I don't know, it could be a parental tool as well.
Yes, scare your child being good. So the time is finished. Let's open the heat press, and you're definitely going to need to use the heat resistant glove because that metal is going to be very hot. So let's lift up the metal until we can see the product, hold the product down and remove the transfer paper. You can just see there how vibrant and glossy those results are on these Unisub outdoor stakes.
So let's talk a minute about the fact that they are able to be used outdoors, because I thought that dye sublimation fades when it's put into sunlight.
Well, that is correct. Traditionally, dye sublimation inks do fade under UV rays. Now,
so how can we use these products outside?
Well, the special Unisub outdoor products have a special UV inhibitor built into the polymer coating on the substrate to prevent the fading under the UV rays, which is very important for our climate here.
Yeah.
So these are going to last for up to 2 years outdoor life.
If they're left outdoors all the time.
Yeah, in direct sunlight.
In direct sunlight,
and most of the time, they're going to be placed within within a shaded area or not directly east or west facing directly into the sunlight. So
yep.
Most likely it's going to last a lot longer than the 2 years.
So you have done a great job of pressing this, Steve. But we do have a question about whether products come out faded. Do we need more heat and pressure or less? What is usually happening if a product comes out and it's faded?
So a general rule is if a product has come out faded, then that could either be not hot enough or not long enough. If the products come out faded and blurry, or the dark colors have become brown, like they've burnt, and that's too hot or too long. And the third part of that is if the products come out faded in certain areas and not other areas, that's most likely going to be lack of pressure. So if it's an even fade across the whole design, it's probably going to be time or temperature. But if it's patchy, then most likely going to be pressure.
There we go. Now, we also have a question from Michelle about Christmas Eve boxes. And if they are, I have to say, I haven't seen the Christmas Eve, but I know we have boxes.
Yeah.
And I know you can put forever media onto paper, but I haven't seen the Christmas Eve boxes.
I've actually seen these. Yeah. A gift for the family to open on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So there's several ways I can think of off the top of my head now. So providing the flat part on the top could go into the heat press, you could use the forever paper, either FlexSoft or Laser Dart. If you have a cutter, a plotter, you could use a sticker vinyl, sign vinyl, just to cut out the names and the shapes.
I actually have one here on display. I mean, this is
onto paper.
Yeah, this is an example. I'll get the camera here and just have a look at this. So this is forever media, which has been placed onto paper. So I mean, this is essentially a bag.
Yeah.
Obviously a wine bag, but you could use that media to create those types of bags.
Yeah, that's
that Michelle's asking about.
And we do also sell a sticker that can be printed with a sublimation process, which could then be stuck onto pretty much any type of box afterwards.
Amazing. All right. Well, let's move on. What is the next product that we're going to create? I think we need our last product, which is candles.
That's it. So this is a unique product. I'm going to say this joke because I quite like it.
Okay.
When I told everybody in the office we've got a new product called Water Slide, everybody turned up in their board shorts the next day. I had to disappoint everybody. It's not that type of water slide.
He's a comedian. Working with him on a daily basis is a joy.
It's my dad jokes coming out. I quite like them. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is bring over this bowl of water.
Yep.
I put that to the side. I was scared I was going to spill that on the prints. And what Water Slide allows us to do is to print onto products like candles. What's going to happen if we put a candle in the heat press?
How are we going to put a candle in this heat press, Steve?
Well, you would struggle. It'd go in, but it wouldn't come out as a candle. So what Water Slide does is a heat sensitive product for going on to heat sensitive items such as candles or toy models, anything that was going to melt inside a heat press basically. So we apply it using water. So these designs are printed on laser LED printers. If you're going to go on a white substrate, like a white candle, you can print it onto any laser LED printer, just a regular CMYK, or if it's just a Black Designer mono printer. If you're going to go onto a dark substrate, like the orange candle we've got here, then you would use an Oki white toner laser printer, whereby you can put the white toner down as a base to block out the dark substrate like the orange we got there.
Amazing.
So I've just trimmed down this design. Now I actually pre-cut this because I used a knife and a ruler to get a perfectly straight edge around there. Now you do want to cut it in nice and tight because this unprinted area will transfer as a transparent area. Now what we do is we're going to pop it into the water, and the water is going to absorb into the media. And then once there's about 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds should be sufficient time for it to absorb the right amount of water. And then once that's happened, you should feel that the media started to slide between your fingers.
That's why they call it water slide.
Exactly. Now, you probably want to use a bigger bowl than this one for this size design, so you can get it there. You can see how it's starting to slide just in there like this.
Yep.
That means we're almost ready to go. Now, what we're going to do is pick up the paper, slide, see where it gets the name from. It's covered in water, and now it slides off. Now, position it onto the candle. Let's get this side lined up. Now,
It's obviously important to get the design the right size before you put it in the water, so that it's easy to put on the candle afterwards.
yeah, that's right. So
You have made it hard for yourself. You're going for a top to bottom design though, so.
that's it. And I'm pretty impressed with that first go. Look at that, Lucas. Perfect. Now I'm going to use a squeegee. I've got a bit of Velcro on one side just to remove any air that's stuck underneath. Now, when it's wet, it can be fragile and it can move, or it can slide around, water slide. So just keep moving those bubbles out from underneath, go in one direction.
And how long does it take to dry completely?
Between 2 and 4 hours, depending on how warm the room is. Now it is still fragile, so we'll just be careful because it can move it. Pop that back down. Zoom in on that. So unique candles. So this water slide media, if you buy packs of 100, it's going to cost you about $3 per sheet of A4. I've seen online candles like this, unique personalized candles, selling upwards of $40 just one candle.
Because it's not just for Christmas. I mean, candles are used at lots of different religious ceremonies, for for memorials. You could even, if you wanted to, you could sell customized candles to like a local cafe or a restaurant or something like that. So it's really important that you try and think outside the box as to what you can use some of these products for, and then go chasing those opportunities to make some money out of them.
Yeah.
Cool. So that brings me to my marketing tip number 6, which is engage with your local community. So I'm sure you're all aware that, obviously with COVID, we're being asked to buy local and shop local, and that's great for all of you guys who have local and small businesses. So, but you really need to get your products out there and, in front of the people who live in the local communities around you, and social media is a really great way to do that. So we recommend using some of the really detailed targeting capabilities of platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, if you're going after the younger generation, to really put your, your product in front of people who are in your local area, who are going to be wanting to support you at this particular time, as they're being encouraged to buy local. So, and not only will that, increase your chances of conversion because they're local, but obviously if you're putting some money behind your social advertising, it's going to be well spent because it's going to be really targeted to people who are in your local area. Another really great one, and one that we've seen our customers use quite frequently with a lot of success, is engaging in local Facebook groups. So I'm sure your suburb or your community has a Facebook group. So posting your products on there, simple word of mouth, can get around, and people can know that people will start spreading the word that you're creating these types of products, and that will end up generating additional revenue and business for you as well. So we had a question about the candles burning down.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's one of the questions we get asked very often about the candles.
So it just disintegrates with the candle, basically.
Okay, amazing. So that is all of the products that we wanted to create today. So we'll throw it open to questions from all the people that are on the line, and just see if there's any other ways in which we can help you out by answering any of the questions that you have.
Yes, we just selected a handful of products here. Some obviously very seasonal, like the Christmas tree shaped ornaments, but any of these designs, like the coffee mugs, the kids' water bottles, the stubby coolers, you put a theme design on there, then it's going to be suitable for that season, or it works all year round, not just for Christmas, but for Father's Day, Easter, all the seasonal events. So you provide a product that's got the design related to that seasonal theme, anything for the sublimation market or any of the printed market can be suitable.
Amazing. All right, well, it appears that we have done a really good job, because there doesn't look like there are any more questions that we haven't answered already. So we will move on. So as I mentioned at the top of the presentation, we have 2 special offers for everyone who has joined the webinar today. And the first is a $20 voucher for you to spend online at the GJS website. So and you can purchase anything that you like with that $20. Ideally, we'd love you to get some of these products and try it. We're going to be sending you the artwork files. So, get yourself some Christmas baubles or some Santa Stop Here signs, some water slide media, something like that. Give them a try, sell them, make a profit. See if you want to create those types of products, and it's just a great way for you to test and see if they're a good fit for your business. So that's the first offer which is coming your way, the $20 voucher. The second, so we currently have a special on the Sawgrass printers. So if you purchase a SG500, which is the A4 Sawgrass printer from GJS during the month of November, you'll get 20,000 bonus GJS points. And if you purchase the its larger brother, the A3 SG1000, we will give you a whopping 40,000 GJS points, which you can then redeem for vouchers, which you can then use to spend online and get more free stuff, basically. So that promotion is running until the end of November, or while stocks last. So hop onto that if you're looking for a new dye sub printer or you're looking to upgrade your existing one. So that's really it for us. We do have another question about the candles.
Yes, so for the water slide media, it needs to be a laser or an LED printer. The Sawgrass printer is not going to be suitable for the water slide media.
No worries. Okay, well, we're a little bit ahead of time, but that's fine. We will wrap up there. That is it for us. Thank you for joining us in our first live event here in the new GJS studio. We hope to bring you lots more live events from this space. Don't forget to check out and we'll keep an eye out for that email which is coming your way in the next few days, which will have your free $20 voucher to spend online at the GJS website, as well as the download link for the artwork that we will be sending you for the products that we have created here this afternoon. So from Steve and I and the rest of the GJS team, we just want to say Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to helping you profit from print, not just this Christmas gift giving season, but well into the new year and beyond. We hope you have a great afternoon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.